All right, welcome to the 6-1 remembering side of our homework, which is, to remind you guys, due 2/18, which is this Tuesday after President's Day. All right, I wanted to make sure that I covered a couple problems off the back side of that homework, because I know that some of you were feeling very nervous about returning to fractions, finding common denominators, and working with them that way. And as some of our solution and situation equations are going to have fractions in them, I thought it would be a good time to go ahead and review some of this material. There were a couple problems I did want to go ahead and do, and that first one is number 4, which is 7 minus 1 and 1/2. Now we have two methods we can approach problems like this with. The first method I call the regrouping method. This is the method you might be the most familiar with. In this case, we're going to have to regroup whole numbers. We're going to have to regroup whole numbers into a fraction form in order to subtract out this 1/2. So the first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to rewrite my problem up and down, or vertical, making sure that my whole numbers are all together and my fractions over on this side. This gives me an opportunity to go ahead and just show that I'm borrowing from this whole 7. I'm borrowing one whole. So 7 minus 1 is 6. And now I need to put that whole in fraction form here. I'm going to use 2 as my denominator so that I have like parts. One whole of something cut into 2 pieces is 2. So now I have 6 and 2 over 2 minus 1 and 1 over 2, making my math a little easier. All I have to do is I have to subtract this 1 from this 2, get 1/2. Subtract 1 from 6, which is 5. So my answer is 5 and 1/2. Now there's another method as well. This method is called the improper fraction method, where we're going to turn both of these numbers into improper fractions in order to be able to subtract them. So the first thing I need to do is I need to change this 7 into an improper fraction with the denominator of 2 so that I have like-sized pieces to cut from. So in order to do this, with the 2, I have to multiply 7 by 2. I'm doing this because if I had 7 wholes, like that, and I cut each one in half, like so, I'm essentially doubling the number of pieces I have. So I'm going 7, cutting each into 2, equals 14. This is my new numerator to describe 7 as a whole number in the language of 2's. Now, I need to subtract 1 and 1/2, but this is still in a proper fraction. So I'm going to want to go ahead and convert this into a whole number, or I'm sorry, an improper fraction. The first thing I want to do is I want to multiply 2 times 1, just the same way we did over here, to see how many pieces I need with the whole. And that gives me 2 over 2. Now I need to add this half. So now I have 2 over 2 plus 1 over 2. And I can simplify this. By writing it that way. Now I just subtract 3 from 14. I get 11 over 2. And I need to simplify my answer. I know that 2 times 5 is 10. So I know that I can get 5 whole pieces back together. And that leaves me with 1/2 left, leaving us again with 5 and 1/2 as our answer, which is the same answer we got when we regrouped. Both of these methods are good to use on your homework. Give them a shot. Another problem I wanted to sort of go over is just adding two mixed numbers. In this case, this is on number 11 on the 6 wide remembering side, which is due this Tuesday, is 2 2/3 plus 7 5/9. Now when we're adding, just like when we're subtracting, we need to make sure that these denominators are the same so that we're adding like-sized pieces. Now I need to find a number that both 3 and 9 evenly go into. The smallest number that both of them go into is actually still 9, so I can keep my 5/9. However, in order to change this 2/3 to 5/9, or I'm sorry, into 9ths, I need to multiply by 3/3 so that I am using this, which is a value of 1, just to get it back into the language of 9s. In this case, 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 3 is 6. Now I can add 5 and 6/9 together to get 11/9. I'll just add my 2 and my 7, and that's 9. We're not quite done. This is an improper fraction, and I need to go ahead and simplify this out. I know that I can put 9 into 11 once, so I'm going to add that 1 whole to my 9 to get 10. That leaves me with 2/9 left over. My answer for number 11 should be 10 2/9. Another question you might have on the homework is in regards to 13, 14, and 15. It says copy each exercise, then subtract. What it's asking you to do in this situation is nothing too fancy, but instead of having, for example, on number 13, 12,389 minus 2 7/500, it wants you to go ahead and vertically stack them. Keeping in mind that that's in the ones place and this is in the ones place, you're going to want to make sure that they are lined up with their decimals correctly. Because 2,389 was a whole number, it's going to be all the way over on the left side from the decimal. And I can go ahead and put a decimal point there and zeros here without changing the value of the number. In order to subtract these, I'm going to have to carry over a little. In this case, I'm going to borrow from the 9, make it an 8. Borrowing from that 9, making it 8, makes this 10, but I still have to borrow from it, so it's still just a 9. And now I have 10 here. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. Carry my decimal point down. 8 minus 2 is 6. And I can just carry the rest of these numbers straight down because there's no values here. So my answer is 12,386 and 2,500.